Welcome to Species Canine Podcast. I'm Jared, your host. Today is an episode on dog breed history, the Doberman Pinscher. Stay tuned. All right, the Doberman Pinscher has a unique history dating back to the late 1800s, starting with a gentleman named Karl Friedrich Louis Dobermann in a town of Apolda, Germany, where he worked as a tax collector and as the local dog catcher / dog pound runner. So he had a very unique insight into breeds and understanding traits and working with them and seeing what he wanted. And as a tax collector and also as a night watchman, he needed to help protect him when he was doing his rounds and his tax collecting. So having the freedom and abundance to select whatever breeds he wanted to choose to start his selectively breeding for traits of personal protection dog, coming up with the Doberman Pinscher, he selected several breeds. And historians debate on the accuracy of these. There might be some other breeds that were thrown into the mix. However, for the most part, they're pretty well suited with that the Black and Tan Terrier, the Pinscher, possibly Italian Greyhound or other terrier breed was added to it, possibly the Rottweiler, as well as a Weimaraner, and possibly Beauceron. Dobermans come in several different colors. Most classic is the black and tan. They have the ability to do police work, sport work, agility work, very smart and determined dogs. There are two separate lines. There are the European lines and the American lines. So with that information, we go back in time just a little bit here to Karl Dobermann. So Karl Dobermann lived between 1834 and about 1894, where he was selectively breeding these dogs for protection work. Now, the dogs he was breeding look nothing like the Doberman today. Body structure is really different. Going back to Karl's original intent of breeding the Doberman Pinscher. The Doberman Pinscher was the first personal protection dog in Germany. That's what he wanted. He's a tax collector. He's not liked by general society. And so he wants something to protect him. Knowing his background with being access to the pound and dog breeds, so he starts breeding these dogs and he starts selectively looking for certain traits, instinctually what he was looking for. And he comes up with the Doberman Pinscher, which is a very loyal, alert, intelligent and strong dog. That's what he was looking for. That's what he really wanted. He wanted that dog to be alert, have strength, and be loyal, and be very, very intelligent to go with him on his rounds and work with him. As we kind of progress through his life, and after Karl's death in 1894, the German name for the dog breed, the Doberman Pinscher, in his honor. So they named him for that. And then about a half a century later, they dropped the word Pinscher. Reason being, because that's the German word for terrier. And it was no longer appropriate 50 years later through the breeding process. So with the Doberman Pinscher in mind, that gives us an inclination that there is some terrier breed in their genetic line somewhere, whether that was bred out throughout the years or just kind of incorporated into a new genetic line here with the Doberman. You can drop the Pinscher, Doberman Pinscher, off and just call them the Doberman because they are not a terrier breed. AKC does not recognize them as a terrier. And if you're a fan of the show, you know exactly how I feel about the AKC. So we have progression moving forward in the history of the timeline here with the Doberman. The Doberman became very famous and won great fame in World War II with the United States Marine Corps in the Pacific Theater, where they earned the nickname Double Dogs during the Battle of Guam. Going back to the AKC here a little bit, the first Doberman to win the AKC was a dog named Storm. She won the AKC 2 years running in 1952 and in 1953. The Doberman Pinscher came into the AKC in 1908. Fun little fact, the most recent Westminster winner, Best in Show, in 2026, was a Doberman named Penny. Some famous Doberman owners are acclaimed actors William Shatner, Kevin Hart, singer Mariah Carey, and former President John F. Kennedy. This breed is a very unique breed. One thing I do want to point out regarding the Doberman is their health. They are prone to hip dysplasia, bloat, and some genetic anomalies regarding cardiovascular issues and spinal cord issues. If you are looking to get one of these dogs and you go to a breeder, be sure to ask for the genetic testing, hip dysplasia, and elbow testing as well to ensure that you are getting a healthy dog. Do not take their word for it. Be sure to actually see the testing on the parents and if the dog is old enough on the individual dog. The Doberman is an amazing dog. I love them. I really appreciate their short coat, their intelligence. I have a dog, a 9-month-old Doberman I'm working with here as a client, and she is an amazing dog. This dog is so smart. She's so capable, very driven, loves to play tug, loves to work, loves to perform. It's just an amazing overall dog. If you're looking for more of that performance, high drive, strong working lines, definitely want to lean towards the European lines and not the American lines. The American lines are typically breeding more of that show dog, and that's going to be a much more calm, more relaxed dog to have in your home and not be having to worry about doing so much work with them to keep them active. But with all dogs, they are bred to work. They are bred to do stuff. So you cannot just let this dog self-advocate and sit on the couch all day because you will develop problems. But if you have a Doberman, please drop me a comment below here. Let me know what you think of the breed. And as always, train smart.